Hark, it's an 87th Precinct Podcast bonus episode. This is the bonus episode to go along with our look at book number 52 in the series, Fat Ollie's book, a very funny tale of, well, you've listened to the podcast probably. Tales of Tales. Yes, I think that's a good way of putting it, really. And before we get into our usual stuff of looking at the book covers and then some stuff from the year 2002, I will do what I forgot to do in the main episode, I have just realised, and talk about some of the contemporary reviews of it. I got so excited and caught up in our finishing off that I forgot to do the contemporary reviews. So I will do them here now. So anyone who's not listened to the main podcast, which is very strange, this won't make any sense, but this is...
You should, instead of doing contemporary reviews, we should have done Amazon reviews.
We should have done, really, if there is anything on there. Mm-hmm. If we could only find some from the period, it'd be good. I don't know how far back you can go.
I'll try and find a funny one.
Go for it.
Anyway, let's see what I've got here. I have got a review from The Observer, the British newspaper, from the 5th of January 2003 by Peter Guttridge, which is called Heist Society. Ed McBain's latest 87th Precinct book is a comedic gem. It starts... Back in the early 50s, before he became a full-time writer, Ed McBain worked in a literary agency that had P.G. Wodehouse amongst its clients. Strange as it might sound, he and Wodehouse became friends, in part because McBain was not afraid to suggest changes to Wodehouse's prose, and Wodehouse was, in McBain's view, professional enough to accept the suggestions if he felt they improved his text. See, I've always been talking about this relationship between Wodehouse and McBain, so I'm glad to see it here reflected in this thing from back then. In Fat Ollie's book, McBain shows his own skill at comic writing, although it's a million miles from Wodehouse's world. The title of this latest in the 87th Precinct series has a double meaning. It is indeed a novel that brings Fat Ollie Weeks centre stage, but the title also of Fat Ollie's life's work, a police novel called A Report to the Commissioner. And it's quite a long review, this one. That a book so late in a series can be so light and lively is a tribute to McBain's skills. He has always admired prose such as Wodehouse. Fat Ollie's book demonstrates, once again, that he is himself a consummate professional. That's good, isn't it? See?
Awesome.
We can't help but go to the New York Times and Marilyn Stasio. Let's find out what she's got to say. In McBain's howlingly funny send-up, the novel is pure drivel, as in Fat Ollie's book, within the book. But Ollie loved it, and darned if we don't like him for that. So, yes, it's a longer one than that, but essentially thumbs up from Marilyn there. Anyway, and we also have from the Times, 13th of December 2003, obviously when the paperback came out, the master of the police procedural returns for his, by my count, 51st 87th Precinct novel. Well, you've missed one out then, haven't you? Detectives Corella and Kling team up with the gourmand Ollie Weeks of the 88th to investigate the killing of a mayoral candidate. Ollie, an equal opportunity bigot, is also looking for the manuscript of his novel, a hilariously execrable police procedural that has fallen into the hands of a Puerto Rican cross-dressing whore. That's the Times there, using such nice language.
Charming.
McBain is a perennial cause for rejoicing, which is nice, isn't it, there? Even if that wasn't the Times, that's very fruity language for the Times. Indeed. So, that's some contemporary reviews. Have we found any Amazon reviews?
Yeah.
There's I found one from Paula Broadbent, verified purchase in March 2016. 2 stars out of 5. Kept jumping from the story to the book that was supposed to be written by the officer, which made the plot hard to follow.
Okay,
perfectly illustrating the point.
So it gets 4.1 out of 5 on, but I've just gone to the 1-star reviews here.
Oh, right, okay.
So let's have a look at these. Boynton Anthea Tyson, 1-star, confusing.
Right.
That's a great review.
Joseph R. Dangle, terrible.
Oh.
David H. Spagnoli, verbose, simple, with grade school storyline to boot.
Verbose and simple.
That's some going.
J. Shiro says, embarrassingly juvenile. Hard to believe McBain is a multi-book selling author.
Yeah, he sold more than 3.
Yeah.
Much better stuff is available for your time and money. So I don't know whether they just got confused with the book within the book.
It sounds a bit like it.
Yeah, I mean, there is a case to be made if you've not been reading the series to be dropped into Fat Ollie's book. Is again, you don't. Because you see the world through Ollie's eyes, not through the author's eyes.
It's not one to start reading the series on, is it?
No. Because the gag of it coming out of the back of money, 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 and also how do you meet the characters? You meet them through... Ollie talks about how he realises how Corella looks, rather than the usual description of how Corella looks and things like that. And we don't know that. So I can understand a little bit that people might get confused, but
they're still idiots.
Yeah,
it wouldn't necessarily be the entry that you'd say, oh, if you read that, you'll get a total understanding of what the 80 Cents Precinct's all about. It would score fairly low down. Its enjoyment comes from having read the previous 51 entries, I suppose, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I think so. It's, But yes, nicely illustrated there, the Amazon.com world of reviews that McBain was so taken against there anyway. Right, so on to the usual thing of looking at the book covers. So I will present the US hardback edition to Morgan to describe.
Okay, well...
It won't be a very long description, I don't think.
It's mostly just Ed McBain's name. And then down at the bottom, we've got Fat Ollie's book with a bit of a picture of a manuscript with a torn page and an underlining, and that's about it, really.
Yeah.
It's a bit boring, that one.
It's not terribly exciting.
A bit boring.
Not the most enthralling.
And I'll get Steve-O to describe the US paperback first edition.
It's a pretend parcel of pieces of paper with a bit of string crossing it. In the top quadrant, it says, top half, Ed McBain, bottom, Fat Ollie's book in like typewriter text.
Yeah.
With a coffee stain. So clearly a pretend collection of papers of Fat Ollie's book. With the words Fat Ollie's book written on it.
Yeah, it's not particularly inspiring, given at no point are we told it's bundled up in string and covered in that. I'll talk about the UK hardback and paperback edition. So all three of us have exactly the same paperback edition. Yeah. And that looks more or less exactly the same as the UK hardback edition, which has... So this is from Orion, the publisher at the time. Simon & Schuster for America. It's Orion in the UK. It's Fat Ollie's book and Ed McBain in the same font that they used for all the Orion editions. And it is a pile of paper bound with elastic bands in this case, where there's a bit of a tearing of the page, and you can see a little bit of the actual manuscript of Ollie's book, Report to the Commissioner, behind it. I think it's that, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, Mercer, that the name's in there.
Although it looks like it's written on a computer rather than on a typewriter.
I would, yeah. So minus 1 point for that accuracy. But it's better than the other ones, certainly.
Yeah, and it's there's some diamonds scattered on it as well, which is obviously a reference to the diamonds in the story, which aren't real, so probably shouldn't exist on the book cover. They're slightly raised. It's slightly textured, the cover of it.
But the rubber bands go around the...
it's a full wraparound.
To the back, So like the money one, it's they're much better than we've had for a long time. These,
they are, and they feel unified as from the same publisher.
But it is quite big, though. This, isn't it? 90 pages
for a paperback. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good 20% longer than normal.
But the difference between the hardback in the UK is the hardback doesn't have any pull quotes on it and doesn't say an 87th Precinct novel, and the paperback. Well, if it to be believed, the original paperback didn't have an 87th Precinct novel on it as well, but did have a literary review quote. However, the version we've got, which I think is the mass market paperback,
I suppose,
does say an 87th Precinct novel and has a quote from the Daily Mirror. He is the undisputed master, and there's nobody who does it better.
Oh, on the spine, you've got all the papers going lengthways as well. Like you've seen a cut through of the...
a much thicker manuscript than Ollie's actual book.
Than Ollie's, yeah. So, not too bad then, the UK edition, really, as we've been saying. One thing I didn't mention as well is who it's dedicated to, but you don't need to guess. It's dedicated to Jadakiss as well. And Steve-O's gone in for a sniff.
Yeah. fairly low on the smell.
I mean, they're relatively new books, aren't they?
Low, yeah.
Okay.
2.5.
2.5. We don't know the scale, but I'll have a go at mine. Oh yeah, there's barely anything to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't niff at all.
Now, mine was quite a cheap book because it's got some water damage. It wasn't
there
me.
could be anything going on there.
So it might have a bit more of an odor. Let's see how we go.
Might have some residual swamp musk.
I wouldn't go so far as swamp musk, but it's a little bit more pungent than you might expect a book of this age to be. So
yeah, okay. So yours
I think
wins.
I've probably got the smelliest
on the
copy.
niffometer, on the huff chart. Okay, so those are our editions in the US and UK editions. Did find some international editions as well,
or Japanese. And
so I have got the French edition. We don't see the French ones where the title of the book is Roman Noir, which I think is just a French term for police story. Essentially, I think those books are called noirs in French, and roman is like romance noir is.
Oh, see the top of the Italian one there. What's it going to be?
Yeah, but the French one is Un Enquête du 87th district. Couldn't remember what 87th was in French, which is just a street scene, essentially.
Yeah.
And then we have the Italian Il Giallo Mondadori, which is Steve-O.
Oh, let me have a look. It's just a street scene.
Yeah, it's a street scene again. Whenever they just can't be bothered, it's back to a general New York street scene.
Looks like a planet, though, with a taxi.
Oh, yes, because it's in a circle. It's in a circle. I will share these as usual.
Il rapporto scomparso.
Oh, yes.
So what does that mean? The report.
No, I think it means like the broken relationship or something like that, or the regretful relationship.
How strange.
I should have written it down, but I didn't.
Can I scroll down?
I think if you scroll down, you'll find the Japanese one.
Ooh.
Go for it, Steve-O. Describe the Japanese one and make sure to show the class.
Right. Oh, crikey. In under 1,000 words, it's got brown and blue and pink and white and yellow and purpley colours. It doesn't seem to be of any discernible item. Now, is that a gun? That's a gun.
Right, pass it here a sec.
There is a shape that might represent a gun, potentially, but...
Now, I'm struggling to make out much there.
Yeah, so as we know, the Hayakawa mystery paperbacks are these abstract paint designs. I don't know if this is more my state of mind or what, but I'm pretty sure I can see a pair of boobs in there.
Boobs?
Pink boobs there. I think that. Well, that would not be relevant, particularly to the story.
You don't think they're boobs, do you?
Well, I don't know.
See, is eyes and a mouth? I don't know. But then that looks like a gun, doesn't it?
Well, we'll open it up to the to our
they're
our friends on the
normally
internet.
very difficult to decipher, but I think that's the most difficult yet.
Yeah, possibly.
I mean, yeah, I often wonder whether they're meant to be representational at all, or whether we're just kind of Rorschaching, ink blotting our own impressions onto them.
And I'm the one who said boobs. Oh well, I like art. So anyway, there's a few international editions, and like I say, I will share those on the old thingamies, Instagrams and stuff. So let us now, though, go to the year 2002, the year through which this book was presumably completed and put together, ready for release, very first thing in the new year. When we get to music, I will do... In fact, Shall we start with music? Let's start with music. Yeah. I have picked music of the week of Christmas 2002.
So Christmas number one.
So what was Christmas number one in the UK in 2002?
Are we in like X Factor years?
Yes, Morgan Brown, we're in that sort of zone.
Don't know. I would be guessing all year. I wouldn't have a clue. Cardle. Bit early for him. Don't know.
Will Young?
No. Groups this time rather than individuals.
Girls Aloud?
It's Girls Aloud.
Sound of the Underground.
So, yes. We're in the era of
the Christmas number one.
Yeah, they were only formed. So they were the winners of
Pop Stars The Rivals, was
that what it was?
I think so, yeah.
Pop Stars The Rivals in 2002 in the UK. So we're doing the UK top 10 from 1 to 10 at Christmas week here. So it should be jam-packed full of Christmas tunes. But they got the number 1 spot at Christmas with Sound of the Underground, which is a banger.
It sure is.
Yeah,
So
so
that series finished just before Christmas then, presumably.
Yeah,
a couple of months before, I think, possibly.
Something like that. Yeah, it wasn't quite like the X Factor. I think they finished it and then they'd have a few weeks of kind of showing them recording and what have you.
Okay, so that was number 1, and I will now just run down the list of Christmas songs that we were listening to in the UK top 10 in 2002.
So how many of these are going to be Christmas then, out of these 10? So we've already got one that isn't.
Okay, well, you count, as we go along.
I'm going to guess 50-50.
Okay, any advance on that, Morgan?
I think, I don't know. It's going to be a bit less festive than that.
Okay, then.
Okay.
Well, keep counting as we go along.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So we know that Sound of the Underground at number 1 isn't. At number 2, it's a double-sided single, Sacred Trust / After You're Gone by One True Voice.
One True Bleeding Voice. Yeah, it was Bee Gees covering it, Sacred Trust. That was the Pete Waterman headed boy band that came second in the same show.
Yeah, so basically, whenever they can't think of anything interesting or new to give a band out of those talent shows, they give them a Bee Gees song, don't they? In almost every. So that's not Christmassy.
So we're 2-0 down now.
Okay. At number 3...
Come on, Cliff. Where are you? Where are you?
It's everyone's favourite cheeky song, brackets, Touch My Bum, close brackets.
Very festive.
By Cheeky Girls.
Touch My Bum.
Yeah, do you remember that one?
3-0 down, right.
Touch my bum, this is life.
Yeah.
Lempic, Opic,
Lempic,
touch my
Opic,
bum.
This to anyone outside of the UK will be absolutely baffling. Well, was it a pair of Romanian ladies who formed the Cheeky Girls?
I think so, something like that.
One
and
of
then
whom was married to a Liberal Democrat member of Parliament.
Yeah.
Who was,
or certainly formed a relationship.
I think because they were on,
Icelandic.
they auditioned for Pop Stars The Rivals. They're another thing from that show, as well as I think
they were sort of made fun of because they were sort of their English wasn't absolutely brilliant,
and they had this bizarre song that was written by their mum.
They were characters, is the phrase they would use, and therefore massively exploited. But they got a, I think number 2 number 2 was the peak position. They got to number 2 with cheeky song Touch My Bum. Okay, number 4, Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word by Blue featuring Elton John. The less said about that, the better. So
this is Christmas week.
Yeah. Number 5, we have Lose Yourself, Eminem.
Very festive again.
Yeah. 0-5 now.
Yeah, 8 Mile.
At number 6, If You're Not the One by Daniel Bedingfield.
Oh, is that Daniel Bedingfield?
You see, this is before downloading, you see, whereas now you can't get away from Christmas things.
That might have had some sort of sleigh bells in the background or something to make it sound slightly Christmassy.
We're having that now. 5-1. We're on the comeback now.
It's about as Christmassy as Stay Another Day by 17. It's
Christmassy.
One of these songs that isn't Christmassy at all, but he wore
he's got a Christmas coat, isn't it?
Yeah, some kind of Christmas coat in the video, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that's Christmas. Yeah, okay.
Right, so after that, we've got at number 7, we've got You're a Superstar by Love Inc.
Oh, that definitely isn't Christmassy. Right.
No.
Well, at number 8, we have got the Ketchup song, Asareggi by Last Ketchup.
That's like a proper summer holiday song, isn't it? Why the hell was that out at Christmas?
Isn't that a song where they just name fast food things? What is it? I don't know. That's the fast food song, isn't it?
Yeah, it's.
This is one.
I'm not going to attempt to sing it.
You keep saying that.
Condiments.
They
they quote.
Brown sauce, mustard, a load of horseradish.
Yeah, that was the one.
Special sauce, kebab sauce.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, that's a mad novelty song, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a kind of
that had been at number 1.
It definitely is like a Spanish holiday Club 1830. Nonsense.
Thing. Number 9, we have Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne,
June,
which she is apparently now considering making into a film.
There were rumours of that at the time. It's
time.
It's maybe been in development hell ever since then.
For 19 years. She's thinking in the middle of a pandemic. Now's the time.
That's it.
She's twice the age she was when she...
She's thrown off Kroger's shackles.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she does have a new record out. It's a bit of a banger, so... yeah.
Yeah, it's a great song anyway, Skater Boy. Number 10, Feel by Robbie Williams.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So,
it's the one with
zero Christmas
Daryl Hannah
songs,
in the
really.
video, I think. It was very moody.
Awful.
Yeah, so
terrible.
it's not Christmassy, but like Steve said, in the age of streaming nowadays, the charts suddenly fill up with Christmas songs from all eras.
It's in that
again.
period between ye oldie days of Christmas songs and the modern day of the ye oldie Christmas songs.
Yeah,
all coming
we're
back
only
together.
a year after the iPods come out here at this point, 2002, and that's before anyone's got streaming services.
A few years of talent show number ones, and then like these days, it's just always that divvy singing about sausage rolls, isn't it?
Yeah. Raising lots for charity.
It's for charity, isn't it? So that's fine.
Who was singing about sausage rolls?
Lad Baby
Lad
or
Baby,
something.
yeah.
It's always a big charity thing, so it's nice, but crikey.
Yeah.
We built the city on sausage rolls and all that.
Okay, well, let's go to America and see how festive they were in America.
None.
Okay, then.
After that,
Let's see.
half.
What do you reckon is there more Christmas songs or more of the word featuring?
Featuring
Okay.
or FT.
Yeah.
Full stop.
So we'll go from 10 up till the number 1 spot. And number 10 is The Game of Love by Santana featuring Michelle Branch.
Oh yeah, that's quite a good one.
But it's not a cover of
Featuring.
Purpose of a
Sadly
man
not,
is
no.
to love a woman.
That would have been good.
Was that Wayne Fontana and the Mind?
I think so. Yeah.
Santana. So it'd go me.
Wayne Santana.
Wayne Santana.
Right, 9 is Underneath It All by No Doubt featuring Lady Saw.
Oh yeah, it was like I remember that one.
Underneath it all. Maybe it means the tree.
Yeah, possibly. It doesn't, does it?
It was not very festive kind of like reggae song.
Yeah. Number 8, Don't Mess With My Man by Nivea featuring Brian and Brandon Casey.
Nivea featuring.
Featuring Vosine. I also read it as Don't Mess With My Nan as well. Which,
Wise words.
yeah, very wise.
You can be making all this up for all I know.
That could be.
Absolutely.
Because at number 7, we've got Bump, Bump, Bump.
By who?
By B2K and P. Diddy. Not featuring B2K and P. Diddy.
A full collaboration there.
Yeah. Number 6, Beautiful by Christina Aguilera.
I've heard that one.
Yes, me too. Number 5, we've got Air Force Ones by Nelly featuring Kaijuan, Ali and Murphy Lee. Kaijuan? I don't know.
Not one of Nelly's songs that I particularly remember.
But it's the fact it's called Air Force Ones, not Air Force One.
It's a spin-off project from something, doesn't it?
Yeah. At number 4, 03 Bonnie and Clyde by Jay-Z featuring Beyonce Knowles.
Yeah, because I think it might have been the third version of that song that someone had done. I think it was I don't know why. There's definitely a version with some other rapper and Tony Braxton before it, and I don't know.
But it's not Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie and Clyde.
No, see again, that would have been more fun.
Okay, number 3, you'll have heard of this one, Jenny from the Block by Jennifer Lopez featuring Stiles and Jadakiss.
I didn't know that was featuring anyone.
Well,
there we go.
Of course it was.
Of course it was.
Number 2, Work It by Missy Misdemeanor Elliott.
Yeah.
Featuring nobody but herself.
Putting a thing down, flipping it and reversing it.
I've no doubt.
Yeah.
And number 1 for Christmas week in America was Lose Yourself by Eminem. So,
Ugh.
so an
The
absolutely
least festive
happy
year
bleeding
since
Christmas.
the birth of Jesus Christ.
yeah. Anyway, we'll come to our 2002 album picks when we get through the next bit of
I'm
this.
going to pick a Christmas album. I'm going to find
The
one.
best of Christmas 2000. I'll tell you what, we'll go on to the highest grossing films of 2002. Yeah.
Potter.
Is number 2, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. There's a reference to Harry Potter in Fat Ollie's book.
There is.
Yeah, Patricia Gomez goes the last time she was at the cinema, the last time she was in a urinal, she was at the cinema that was showing Harry Potter because someone had his face smashed into a urinal. which is kind of what I'd prefer to watching a Harry Potter film. So,
Yes.
yeah. Any thoughts? Any other ones for 2002?
There was a Bond film.
There was a Bond film.
Well, what's going to be higher than... If it's higher than Potter, there was a Star Wars film.
There was a Star Wars film. That was at number 4.
Was there?
Yeah. Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the
It's going to
Clones.
be something I don't know then. Some Disney thing.
No, you know very well what number 1 is. You know it very well.
Oh, Two Towers.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Oh, it's such a good film.
Lots of franchise action that year, wasn't there?
Well, there is, yes, definitely.
Well, like there is every single year forever more
Yeah,
now.
because at number 3 that year was Spider-Man.
Of course,
Spider-Man 3.
No, just Spider-Man.
So yeah, there's new Spider-Man. They don't call them, like, in the old days, it was Spider-Man, and then you'd have Spider-Man 2, and then Spider-Man 3, and then 4 and 5. You could keep track of where they're up to. Now they just give them names, so you don't have a clue.
They're confusing matters now by bringing characters from
There's a character from this film in the new film, isn't there? So
They should call them like Spider-Man, so like -2 if they went back a bit, or Spider-Man.
So this is a more clearer system.
2B / Superman 3C. So you know where you're up to.
It makes as much sense, to be honest.
Spider-Man
It generally
filing
puts
system.
me off ever watching them because you just don't know where. Well, anyway,
I think that's what a lot of people feel intimidated by, is the sort of the feeling that you have to have invested a lot into knowing that Spider-Man No Way Home feels like part of a bigger thing that you should know something about, rather than Spider-Man 2. So
Yeah, now they're getting into multiverse ideas. It's a lot.
multiverses are the new in thing.
Yeah.
big turn off as far as I'm concerned.
I could just watch loads of them. Number 5 is Men in Black 2.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Number 6 is the Bond film,
Die something.
Die Another
Die
Day.
Another
Something about dying.
World.
Die Another Day, yeah. Number 7 is Signs.
That's the really bad one, isn't it? Die Another Day.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
The invisible car one.
Madonna
Yeah,
doing
the
theme
fencing.
tune. Bloody awful.
Yeah, that's maybe definitely one of the worst.
CGI has not stood up in that at all.
It's Signs.
Plot's awful.
Yeah. But Signs is at number 7, yeah.
It's thingy, isn't it? Sixth Sense guy, is that?
Oh, what, M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
You see here it said Signs and the distributor's Disney, so I assumed it would be something like Cars, and it would be like a load of signs that have come to life.
I mean, possibly.
No,
I think he
it's
did
not. I
do
think
one
you're
called
right.
Signs, didn't he?
Yeah, was that
Bruce
the beginning
Willis
of him kind of
again,
totally undoing his reputation?
I think, well, it was obviously a big hit, wasn't it? But I don't think it's very good.
Did it have a twist? Did it have a twist?
It definitely had a twist. Yeah.
Well, that's, there you go. Number 8 was Ice Age.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. That stands
Yeah,
up.
it's quite fun, isn't it?
At number 9 was My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Mm-hmm. And at number 10 was Minority Report, which is based on a novel by
Philip
K.
K. Dick.
Dick.
That's
Yeah.
it, isn't it?
Yeah. Or a short story, at least. I've never seen it.
Oh, Steve-O is miming him doing that thing that you do with screens in
with
films now, where you just wave your hand in the air and the post-production people put in a load of floating screens.
There's a lot of that going on in that film, I seem to remember.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there was all sorts of things came out that year, and we'll give our own film choices at some point, but there was they included The 51st State.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of that's filmed in Liverpool.
Yes, it was. A lot of The 51st State, starring Samuel L. Jackson, was filmed in Liverpool. It's a film that stars both Samuel L. Jackson, that's Samuel L. Jackson, and Keith Chegwin.
Yep.
Together at last.
Yeah.
And ever since then, Samuel L. Jackson's been an honorary Scouser, hasn't he? One of many.
Yeah. Other great hits such as Ali G, In the House.
Oh, crikey.
Continuing the run of British comedy films that are rubbish. The live-action Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
kind of
okay.
a soft spot for that. But I think that's
I'm-
just a soft spot for Sarah Michelle Gellar, I think, possibly.
Yeah, or Linda Cardellini.
Oh, yeah, and that, yeah.
Was Keith Chegwin in that as well?
Yeah,
Sadly,
he played a cave.
Is Rowan Atkinson the baddie?
Oh,
I feel
yes,
like he
he
might
is.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Austin Powers in Gold Member.
Was that the last one?
Austin Powers in Diminishing Returns.
Yeah. I don't think I've even seen that one.
Yeah, I will have seen
I
it.
think I've seen that. You see, there were like films that in very, very quickly.
They captured a moment and then went. Disney put out Treasure Planet, which is one of their sort of ones that was like, what? People never remember Treasure Planet, which was basically Treasure Island done in space.
Yeah.
There's films like independent films like Dirty Pretty Things, like Stephen Frears' film, which is a very distressing film. The first Resident Evil film, which isn't too bad actually. Because I've seen someone cut into cubes by lasers, I think, and that makes me feel funny.
A computer game film.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll see what crops up in our own picks in a little bit. But what started on TV in 2002? I Hear You Cry.
Give us a clue. Have I ever watched
the
any of
program
this?
give us a clue. That was around for years.
Have I ever watched this?
You'll have watched some of these.
Right,
Okay. So certainly Steve-O and I are big fans of Inspector Morse,
Ooh.
which had ended by this point.
So did Lewis start?
Oh, probably. But who cares about that?
Right, no.
But the thing that was actually commissioned to go in the slot where Inspector Morse used to go was Foyle's War.
Oh, it was, yeah.
With Michael Kitchen as Foyle.
Michael.
I was pulling Michael Kitchen face then.
Yeah, you sounded a bit like him, actually, yeah.
He likes to sort of wince a little bit.
Honeysuckle Weeks.
Yes, which is a brilliant name. If you're if you're called Honeysuckle Weeks and you don't become an actor, that's, it
would be a bit of a blunder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
because people will forgive you being called Honeysuckle Weeks if you're an actor. If you're like a postman,
I've watched a lot of them, and I've still got quite a lot to go. They're a bit slow, but they're quite good Sunday afternoon telly.
It's about a policeman investigator in the war.
Who then becomes a spy after the war.
Oof.
Kind of.
Well.
But they're well made, and they're like all those things, a who's who of the television acting of their day, aren't they?
Yeah. So this is UK TV debuts, by the way, folks, in case you didn't guess. Spooks begins in 2002, which was a BBC thing set in the world of espionage and government agencies and things. Featured a lot of people putting pen drives in things and waiting for data to download while a ticker went up to 99%.
You see, Jeopardy, they've got to be like Fat Ollie.
You've got a ticking clock.
A ticking clock, definitely.
Universal fantasy, i.e. being a spy, ticking clock.
Yeah.
Female character. I bet you.
You could
should see how many of these television programs satisfy
meet all the criteria. Yeah.
Spooks definitely would do, I think.
Yeah.
Probably not any of the other ones I've got on my list here.
Have you got the list handy there, Morgan?
I have indeed.
Okay, does Spooks meet these criteria? What are they?
Well, let's see. It was create a plot that puts an ordinary person in an extraordinary situation. They weren't really ordinary people.
Well, they were spies. So
no. The plot that plays out a universal fantasy we've already covered. That's good.
Tick.
Come up with a plot that passes the cool test.
Well, it's all about spies and
that's
espionage,
pretty cool.
Computers and shit.
It makes readers want to read the book simply on the basis.
Pen drives would have been very cool in 2002.
Plot must involve high stakes.
Definitely.
Fair enough, introduce the ticking clock. We've covered that. That's definitely there. Be sure to avoid ambiguity. Avoid situations where points in favour of both sides diminish the reader's ability to root intensely for one side or the other.
That may be where it fell down because there was a lot of double agents.
Yeah, but you'd know you're rooting for, though, wouldn't you?
Harry, the main guy.
Avoid writing about what's in the news.
That's sort of what's in the news, isn't it?
Well,
not specifically.
He's got some of
you sort of believe
certainly.
It's always there in the background.
It
does quite well.
Right,
anyway,
I don't think we might
we might need it for something else. But some of the other UK TV debuts are the Scottish comedy Still Game. Which is absolutely brilliant. We were watching it the other night. It's very funny. The English comedy 15 Stories High. One of my all-time favourite comedies ever. By the late lamented Sean Locke as the main star in it. And Benedict Wong, known to many people now as a huge part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We also have Look Around You, another very funny British comedy, which is a parody of schools and science programming. And we also have things like I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, which is still going to this day.
Somehow.
And Flog It.
Flog It.
An auction-based program where they always manage to find something to be the last thing in the program that makes loads of money.
Is that still going?
It is.
So was that before bargain hunt, I suppose.
I don't know. They feel like they've been around forever.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
Flog It feels like a cross between Antiques Roadshow, Road Trip for American listeners, and Bargain Hunt. Where people go, oh, I've got all this stuff in my house I don't want. Make me some money.
Got an ancient artifact from the family. Yeah, you can flog that for 50 quid. Well, go on then.
Do you want to put a reserve on it for 50 quid? Yeah, okay. I want to flog it, but I don't want to lose money. Anyway, let's go to America. Some US TV debuts. It's rather bizarre that this is a US TV debut, but it is because it comes through MTV, which is The Osbournes.
Ah, yeah.
Which was the reality show starring Sharon and Ozzy Osbourne and their children.
Apart from the one who didn't want to be on it.
Ah, yes. Never watched a single second of it.
Who's been the wiser of that? Who's more glad of that decision?
Yeah.
We also have Monk starts.
Oh, Monk, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, which is about a policeman, I think. He's a policeman until his wife is killed, then he retires and develops obsessive-compulsive disorder and then starts working as a private detective, but has obsessive-compulsive disorder. Tony Shalhoub, I think is the name of the actor.
Well, I don't know his name, but yeah, I remember it in the distant past.
Yeah, I think it was a lot bigger in America than here, but it did show over here, all of it, and it does sort of turn up on those channels that show those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Sort of in the Columbo mould, you know.
Yeah, 5-star to be on, wouldn't it?
Yeah, something like 5-star channel. CSI Miami, clearly the production team decided to go somewhere warm.
Is that the one with David Carradine in? No, not David Carradine, Caruso. David
the
Carradine.
opera singer Caruso is in. I don't know. I've never seen a single CSI episode.
No,
David
right.
Carradine, that'd be a bit different,
That'd
wouldn't
be
it?
cool.
The Wire.
Oh, right, yeah.
God, I can't believe that was that long ago. I've still never seen that.
I've never seen it either.
Now,
People will be shouting at us because that's the thing you do with The Wire.
yeah,
Why haven't you watched it?
No, well, it's supposed to be good, but they had this ridiculous thing that the way they showed it here, it was on an episode every day.
Every night on BBC Two at 11:30 or
for
something.
about a month.
Oh.
And it was just like...
And nobody had like boxes to record it.
No,
then.
so I remember
that's it.
like watching the first two, but it's like quite depressing and slow and just not the telly you want for like...
Not necessarily what you want to watch at 11:30 at night,
No.
For 40 days in a row.
No, I will watch it.
But
at
I
some
believe
point.
it is very good,
Yeah.
even if they're
Yeah.
not quite your...
Yeah.
Gritty would be the word.
It's packed full of English actors anyway.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and what else have I got on my little list here? Oh yeah, I've no idea what this is, but I had to write it down because I think this is the worst name for a crime-based show ever. It's just called Robbery Homicide Division.
Robbery.
That's just like some police words.
It's like that Simpsons episode. Police, cops, police cops.
Yeah, very much so. And the Barefoot Contessa starts, which is a cooking show starring Ina Garten, which sometimes we put on and end up watching like 3 episodes in a row, despite the fact she only does like one recipe in each thing and then just spends a lot of time wandering around, going to shops and seeing her friends.
Oh.
It's very easy TV. And what else have I got? I've got a couple of Australian ones for our Australian listeners here. The comedy Kath and Kim starts in 2002. I love Kath and Kim. Absolutely brilliant. That's one I occasionally pop back to and watch a few episodes of now and again.
Good stuff.
They have a crime series starts called Young Lions.
The spin-off of Young Doctors. That Flying Doctors.
Yeah, flying doctors. Well, maybe a young doctor.
They were
wasn't it?
quite young though as well.
It's that's a bit more dynamic than robbery homicide.
division.
What's it called again? Sorry.
Young Lions.
Young Lions.
The storyline of the series revolved around the professional and private lives of 4 rookie detectives, the Young Lions of Southwest 101, an inner-city Sydney police station. Oof. The programme rated poorly and was not renewed after its first season. So there you go.
I was envisaging like an Australian adaptation of The New Centurions by Joseph Wambaugh or something like that.
No.
Terry Lyons.
Yeah,
Like a family of cops.
Yeah, could be.
But then you have to be like mixed age lions then, wouldn't it?
Mixed age.
Unless they
Life
were-
with the mixed age lions.
Unless they were all like triplets and they all became detectives at the same time. Yeah. No wonder it got cancelled after a season.
Yeah. The concept's
Simply
a little hard
had-
to follow.
I'd simply not thought it through.
I think You've destroyed Morgan with this concept.
At the end of the first series, they all retire because they're all the same age, but they're all 64.
Oh dear. Anyway, right. So, music choices, albums. I will go first. Get it out the way for. Well, I'll do my.
Get it out the way. Terrible choice.
No. I'll do my picks for albums and films first, and just get it done. Okay. Because my pick for an album for 2002 is George Harrison's Brainwashed, which is his final album and was released posthumously. So George Harrison died died at the age of 58 in 2001, which was a very horrible day for me. I remember it very, very clearly as a big Beatles fan. I remember where I was because it was when me and Morgan were living together in that crappy flat in Prince's Road.
Yes.
And I'd lent someone my copy of All Things Must Pass, and so I didn't have any George Harrison in the house to listen to. Yeah, but Brainwashed was based on a series of recordings, none of which were fully finished, I don't think, but most of it was there. It had been his first album for years. And yes, Jeff Lynne finished off a lot of it.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's a really good album. It actually contains a lot of very, very well-written songs that sort of do what George does best, his spirituality and love and a few slide guitar sounds that you would expect from things. And it was a really, really good album, and it was such a shame it had to be something that came out posthumously. But I'm glad it exists. So that is my album pick for 2002. Yeah, love it. Very, very good album, that one. And my film pick, I've got a couple here. I don't know what to choose from. Ooh, yeah. But I think I'm going to go again for a Studio Ghibli film, because I'm pretty sure I've chosen one before. And in this case, I'm going to go for Spirited Away.
Well,
because it is, again, it's a phenomenal film. The animation is astonishing. It's another film where you can watch it and be just totally lost in the world it creates. Beautifully animated, beautifully illustrated, beautifully told story, creepy, weird, features a character who eats a lot. It's a bit like Fat Ollie in No Face, who I once went to a Halloween fancy dress party as, which was good because it's very enigmatic and freaky. And yeah, brilliant. So I'm going to have Spirited Away as my choice of film for 2002, and I'm going to go to Steve-O for his picks for 2002.
Well, I was going to go for the Flaming Lips, Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots, which is a very lush, beautiful album. But I think I'm going to go for my favourite ever Christmas album.
So enraged at the charts.
Which happened to come out in the year 2002, and, well, you all know which one it's going to be. Christmas is Almost Here by Carly Simon. Now, it features not only Willie Nelson, but it features Don Was.
From Was Not Was.
And Billy Preston.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's another mate of George Harrison's there. Yeah.
And a guy called Ben Montench as well.
It brings a from
them. Yeah. So, we all love that Carly Simon Christmas album from 2002, don't we? We always put that on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Play it to death after buy it. So, yeah, I'm going to go for that.
Nope,
but if you can't find that...
Flaming Lips.
Go for Pink Robots, yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, there we go. I like the fact that you're so enraged at the music buyers of 2002 that you've done that. So what are you going for your film?
So, yes, my film. Yeah, it was quite a lot of blockbusters that were actually quite good, but I'm going to go for The Pianist, which isn't a particularly great Christmas movie, but Roman Polanski's Holocaust film.
Yes.
Is very bleak and but a very engaging and interesting film.
Yeah, it's pretty grueling, but definitely a pretty amazing film too. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, you can listen to your Carly Simon Christmas album and put The Pianist on.
Yeah, I wouldn't have that on at the same time.
The classic
to be
Christmas
honest.
Day.
Not sure Billy Preston's organ. Would
You sync up nicely with the piano in The Pianist. Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, I come to Morgan Brown for his picks.
Yeah. Cool. album-wise, I am going to go for The Process of Belief by Bad Religion. They'd been going for years and years by that point, but through the 90s, they lost one of their two main songwriters who quit the band to concentrate on running his record label. And then 2002, he rejoined the band, and it was quite a big event for people who are into Bad Religion. It was a bit like Adrian Smith coming back to Iron Maiden, because they kept the existing lineup and just added him back. So it was a 3-guitar lineup, and it's very exciting.
Wowzers.
And it's an absolute tour de force, just sort of like great kind of fairly raging hardcore punk, but with big melodies and these intelligent, wordy lyrics and elaborate harmonies, and it's cracking. Cool. You like that kind of thing?
There was quite a lot of punk bands of that ilk in 2002 put albums out. I was scanning down that list. I thought there's a lot here that Morgan could choose. I was looking down.
Are they still going? Or?
Yeah, so still cracking on. I think Brett Gurvitz, who's the guitarist who came back, he still records with them. I think he rarely tours. And one of the other guitarists has left, and they've had a few changes around. They're still going. They actually had a Christmas album, not that year, sadly.
Oh.
I've never bought it because it's always expensive and only has 9 songs on. But there is a Christmas album of them doing. They're normally very serious, and it's them doing a bunch of Christmas classics in that Bad Religion style, which is quite hilarious.
Film then, Morgan.
Film-wise, I'm going to go for Talk to Her. I can't remember what it is in Spanish. Okay. Pedro Almodovar movie.
Yes.
It's a curious film, kind of dealing with the relationship that forms between a couple of disparate characters who are visiting people, women who are in hospital in a coma, and the various backstories that led them to these situations. It's quite funny, like funnier than that situation suggests. Quite disturbing in parts, like really moving as well. It's a pretty amazing film. I do enjoy it very much, and I think I saw it in the cinema. It's good.
Oh, right. Okay. Interesting selection there. So we've got all sorts for you to ponder in our choices from 2002. Okay, then. Well, all that remains then is for me to wrap up this by saying, well, this will be the last thing you hear from us, unless I come up with something completely mad in the next couple of weeks, from the year of 2001. 2001? What year is it now? 2021. Don't see. This is just what's happened. This is what's happened to my brain. We have fallen into a time slip. No,
it's a podcast within a podcast now.
Oh no! It's just Fat Ollie's podcast. He would do one. It'd be like 3 episodes that were 2 minutes each, and he'd think it was brilliant. No, 2021, which has been one of the worst years to have ever lived through in many ways. Continuing the trend of dreadful years that's been going on. It's been certainly very tough for me at times, and I know it has for a lot of people in many different ways. I hope 2022 will find us all on an upward positive streak once we get over the next wave of stuff we've got to deal with. It's a lot of gritting our teeth and just getting on with it, unfortunately, whereas it would be nice to be, I don't know, maybe we'll emerge into some sort of hedonistic new equivalent of the 1920s, and we'll all be doing bizarre dances and stacking up champagne glasses before too long.
Standing on the tops of flagpoles or whatever.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Yes, well, thank you to everyone for listening to us this year. We only have technically 3 more episodes to go when we come back in the new year to round out the main series of this. So thanks for sticking with us if you have. If you haven't, well, boo to you. But otherwise, it's a very Merry Christmas from me, and from Steve-O it's...
Ho, ho, ho!
And from Morgan it's...
Merry Christmas.
And fare thee well, of course. Bye!